Good Friday morning. You made it to the weekend. And may I say it's the longest weekend of the year? What are you talking about? Anyway, good morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. How on earth could this weekend be the longest? Oh, I know. We're adjusting the clocks. This is the 49-hour weekend. How are you going to spend it? I'm kind of curious. You might be spending it tomorrow morning, like this morning, on the cold side, but it will eventually warm up because we're under a warming trend now for the afternoons, which is nice. But it'll take a look behind me. Maybe a touch of fog in some of those gray areas, which really isn't that many. There might be some on the east side of Knoxville, maybe between Claiborne, maybe into Granger and Hancock County, not far from Sneedville or perhaps Hawkins County. But really, fog isn't the big story. It's the temperatures. Oh, yes, we've been as low as 30 degrees at McGee-Tyson at 540 this morning. It's now 31. Many of us are hovering around the big 30, which is an improvement over yesterday morning because it fell to 25, at least in Knoxville. So the cold air is still around, but maybe it's just a little bit more modified than it was just a day or two ago. It is 25 now in Jamestown, and I believe they have a wind chill of 19. So it does feel awfully cold depending on where you are this morning. I want you to make sure you're bundled up, and you might have some frost to scrape off the windshield as you begin your day. By the way, my big update on the app, I have a new update. It's still free, by the way, but you might not have noticed that you've got some new tools at your disposal on your smartphone. One of them is the dark mode, which is great and easier on the eyes, I've been told by some of you. It's also easier to discern or pick out snow when there's snow in the Great Lakes, as pictured on the left, but you might prefer the base map being white like it's been most of all the time, but it has an option there that you can check out. By the way, the improved lap speed, the improved lapse bar are also features on the new app update. Plus, you get the past 2 hours real-time radar and then the future radar all seamless in one product. This is fantastic. I know if you haven't really had a chance to try it yet, you're going to be amazed because what it does for you is that you can actually, okay, that's where it is. Well, I want to know when's it going to get to my house? How many times have you asked that question? Well, if you press the play button at the bottom, it'll go right into the future radar and give you an idea of where that rain is going. So I think that's kind of cool. All we're lacking now is the rain. So once we get the rain, I think you'll find it much more user-friendly in that regard. But anyway, the app has all the National Weather Service alerts that you would be accustomed to getting. You also get with Pete Michaels traffic, which is bar none, the best traffic reports in Knoxville. But the twisting storm approaching was an alert that was triggered by that EF3 in West Knox County. How many of you remember that? Near Lovell Road? Oh, yeah. The National Weather Service did not have a tornado warning. I repeat, Weather Service did not have a tornado warning for that, but the Captain Accurate Weather app, some folks had that alert, and that was the twisting storm approaching alert. So if you're on the fence and you're like, public safety is important to me, David, well then make sure you download the free Captain Accurate Weather app. You also get the dangerous storm alert, dangerous storm approaching alert, which is a precursor to a severe thunderstorm warning, and the storms in your area within 25 miles. You get free lightning alerts, the 3 Barron alerts, and there's nothing to sell here. Just to tell you, I want you to stay safe, and you get the BTI score. That's a 0 to 10. If it's a 7, 8, or 9, and that number comes to your phone by chance, you have a better understanding of your risk for receiving a tornado. So again, all these things at your disposal. That is my public service announcement for the day. By the way, the Ultimate Doppler Radar presented by A1 Fincham Heating and Cooling. They are my sponsor. If you're interested in needing stuff, they're focused on customer satisfaction. A1 Fincham Heating and Cooling. They won't quit until you're happy. Check them out. One of the cold things or cool things about today is what we may start on the chilly side, below freezing. We're going to warm back up into the lower to mid 60s today. Lower to mid 60s. So think about it. 2 days ago, it was 49 for a high. Yesterday, it was 57. But today, about 63. So you don't notice that this morning because you're still seeing your breath at 31 degrees in Knoxville. It's 30 in Oak Ridge, 28, Morristown, Talbot, Alpha, as well as White Pine, and about 36 degrees now in Oneida for the temperatures. And if you look at the wind speeds, and they're not moving all that much at this hour, some of us have a 7-mile-an-hour wind in Wartburg, but it's 0 in Knoxville, so we're not going to have a wind chill in all places, but where it is developing, it looks like it's in the mid-20s across much of the area. And if you're going around the state, you'll find that we're on the colder side of the ledger because Memphis right now is at 43 degrees. If you're on the call, just want to say hello to you. We're doing a Facebook Live and a YouTube Live. Live at the same time, we're multitasking. And I got my Vols tie. and the Vols forecast and the tailgating forecast coming up in just a few seconds. By the way, if you're on Facebook, let me know. I see Denise Reagan Jarbo says, good morning, David, needing hot coffee this morning. And she's got her 2 virtual cups. I love it. Thank you, Denise, for being here. Audrey says, David, I don't like the cold. Fix it. She's laughing at me. I'll do my best. Afternoons, maybe if you just sleep in. If we had that ability, not all of us all have that ability. Maybe if you're retired and you have that ability, or the day off, you could simply have a Friday off. You could sleep in and not have to deal with it. Esther says, good morning, David. She's got 31 degrees in Washburn. Have a great day. Thank you, Esther. She's been doing a great job keeping me updated there in Washburn. And Felicia says, happy Friday. So we've got a lot of folks on YouTube, on Facebook, and on YouTube. I got to pop over here real quick and see who I have. Oh, I got a note here from YouTube. I see Steve Stone. He says, good Friday morning, everyone. Happy to see Steve. And Marilyn Bell, happy Friday. Enjoy your day. Crafty Adventures from Felicia. Have a great weekend. So we've got a lot of folks that are excited about the weekend. And do you like the fact that I did a little spin? I made this the longest weekend of the year. Who talks like that? I do. 49-hour weekend. Now, when we get to the spring, and it's a 47-hour weekend, well, we'll give or take. But given that, we're going to adjust the clocks. It's up to you how you want to spend your 49-hour weekend. I know. 31 degrees right now, 40 in Nashville. It's 31 degrees in Chattanooga, and the time right now is 6:46. We're not going to see a whole lot of clouds today. In fact, I expect bright sunshine to be the dominant force today. Even if you look at this image, most of the high clouds are up toward Illinois or the Ohio Valley, but there are not many clouds to talk about in East Tennessee, nor much in the entire state. So the Valley Planner will take us from near 30 now to about 63 by, say, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, 63 degrees. Some of us may make it into the mid-60s, like 64, 65, if you're in Athens or Etowah, or maybe even Madisonville, Tellico Plains. But I suspect most of us here in the Valley, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, or maybe even Maryville, will be about 63 to finish the afternoon. And you'll notice temperatures by lunchtime should be about 50. So we're making some headway as we head toward the afternoon. And so with a high of 62 in La Follette, 66 in Tellico Plains. If you're in Cumberland County, Crossville, a shout out to you. Fairfield Glade, Grimsley, as well as maybe Lake Tansy should be around 60 degrees, as is Jamestown, my expectation this afternoon. Now, if you haven't heard, the drought monitor, which came out at 8:30 yesterday morning, elevated Knoxville and West Knox County and Anderson and parts of Blount and all of Loudoun County under the extreme drought. Now, to put this into context, there's only 5 categories or 5 levels. Level 1, the yellow, abnormally dry. Level 2, moderate drought in light brown, like Morristown there. But the orange would be the severe drought. That's where we were. But now that things have gotten progressively drier, it's getting a lot worse, and it's going to get much worse than this. I suspect there'll be a lot more red on this map come next week. So if you were hoping for some rain, we maybe got a spot of rain here or there. I left a little bit, 20% chance going into the overnight Saturday, but it's really not much to get too excited about because most of it should be coming down from southeast Kentucky and fading quickly once it crosses the state line. But look at the red areas. The red areas include Karnes, Farragut, Lenoir City, Loudoun, Kingston, Harriman, Clinton, even McGee-Tyson Airport, technically under the extreme drought. That's level 4 out of 5. That's astonishing, right? We had such a dry September. We tied for the 5th driest September, and we tied for the 9th driest October. So, I mean, if you think about it, this is just crazy dry that we could use more rain, and we just don't have it in the forecast. So maybe this is just the canary in the coal mine. And this also leads to an elevated, he says, leads to an elevated risk for fire danger. So please don't burn leaves. I heard Juan talk about that because fires can get out of control pretty quickly. So with the dry conditions, we've got low relative humidity this afternoon. It's going to be imperative and very important to make sure that you and your neighbors make sure you don't burn things out of control. Check with your local county authorities, all that, but I just want to make sure you know that we're not going to get much in the way of rain, and the dryness today is not, and gusts of wind around 15 miles per hour today could make fires get out of control pretty quickly. So that's the drought monitor. It's kind of a sour subject, but I did need to cover it. Temperature's 31 right now in Knoxville. It's 30 in Raleigh, it's 43 in Memphis, and you'll notice the chill that was existing out west, like Montana or Colorado, Bismarck. They were in the 10s, teens, low 20s just a few days ago, but they've modified too, so there's kind of a warming trend for them, at least at this time. That's where we are around the country. Got to show you this too. As we take a look, the only frost advisories and freeze warnings this morning are down in Georgia primarily and parts of South Carolina. Many of the areas in the southeast had their freeze yesterday morning, so there are fewer warnings to issue now that the growing season has come to an end in many areas in the south and east. Nothing to see in the Gulf of Mexico, where we do have precipitation, some snow in Canada. It's up there. And maybe a few mixed precipitation there in the Rockies northwest of Denver. So pretty quiet. Otherwise, hoping that we would see some rain in the short term, and you just don't see it. So for today, getting you to the bus stop, it's 6:50, don't you know? 6:50, we've got 41 at 10, 59 at 2. I think pickup temperatures will be near 60 between 2 and, say, 3:30. But lots of sunshine today is the name of the game. Can you believe it? Our sun comes up at 8 o'clock this morning. Do you know what? That seems weird. If it's still dark at 7:59, you know, some of us like to change the clocks. This is why we do this, right? Some of us don't like the fact that it's dark still around 8 o'clock. Tomorrow it's, I think, 8:01. But then we change the clocks late Saturday night. And it's just one of those things that might be symptomatic for the time of year. Sun sets tonight, 6:39. But this is the weekend that our clock change will take place. 2 a.m. becomes 1 a.m. Sunday, November 5th. Make sure you change the batteries in your smoke detectors. That's always also a good idea. Headlines, we're looking at bright sunshine, turning milder today. That's a misnomer when it's so cold now, but it will turn milder. And more sunshine on Saturday for the Vols game. And I left the shower drizzle possible late Saturday night. Just to kind of highlight, there could be about a 10%, 20% chance as it comes down from the north and west. And I'll show you, and it's all associated with a weak cold front that's going to slide in here in the overnight period. Not talking during the Vols game, but like 2 or 3 a.m. Sunday. Go Vols, hashtag Go Big Orange. I know that if Danny's watching, he's going to take note. 35, cold enough tomorrow morning if you're playing cornhole, 44 at 10, and it's a 55-degree kickoff start. That's where I expect. Now, you notice lots of sunshine. But by the afternoon, there may be a few of those high, thin clouds, really high, thin clouds. I'm wearing my checkerboard tie today because I think it's all about homecoming weekend, and we want to be in the end zone the whole weekend. That's where I think we should be. That's maybe where you think we should be. But if you're tailgating this weekend, let me know. I'd love to know what you're thinking. Marilyn, Felicia, and Steve on YouTube. And what do we have over here? I see Felicia, Denise, Audrey, and Esther on Facebook. If you have a comment, love to share that with you and pass that on. Maybe magnify what weather conditions that you're experiencing, like we heard from Esther in Washburn this morning. So from 55, can't drive 55. Well, our temperature can be 55 just as this game is getting underway against the Connecticut Huskies. 62 at halftime and 68 for the fourth quarter. A few wispy high clouds for the second half of the game, or at least for the second half of the day. Connecticut's only won one game this year. I know that might sound like they're an easy-peasy team, but we can't take any game for granted. As many Vol fans know, we all know they got to win every game and give a concerted effort for each game. By the way, the YouTube channel address that we were just on, youtube.com/@CaptainAccurate. It is free to subscribe there, too. By the way, watching the tropics, there has been some activity, as you can see in red, south of Cuba. Hurricane Center had a lot more hope, or maybe a probability that was higher, for this to form into a named storm. But now from it was 40%, then 30, it's down to 20. So there's not much hope that this will get the name, say, Vince. But Vince is the next name on the list as we are rounding out the end of the hurricane season. It officially ends. The official end is November 30th. And Vince and Whitney may be the two names left there on the list. Right now it's 31 degrees. No wind to speak of, so 31 feels like 31. And the dew point 26. So it's very dry. There's still a possibility of some frost, obviously, in the grass and other places, but you may find fog absent this morning. Now, I did leave the best chance of rain for next week, the 40, 20, 40 for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But I will say this, from some of the data that I saw since last night, much of it seems like it's centered around Kentucky and southeast Kentucky. It's not to say you're not going to get a shower, but I really keep our expectations low. Just because the drought monitor declared us under an extreme drought doesn't mean we can't go to level 5 just like that, because there's not much rain down the road. And I mean like down the road. We have to wait and see how this changes. And eventually when it does, it tends to, change abruptly. Kind of like, how do we go from low tide to high tide in just a few hours? It can change. as we head into the month. There will be different obstacles or maybe different forcing mechanisms to change the pattern. But right now, it is all about the dryness. And I left maybe a 20% chance in the overnight. Hopefully, I may not have put that on the 7-day today, but I had it in last night or yesterday afternoon. It's still in my mindset that we'll have that chance on early Sunday morning, like 2 or 3 in the morning. Storm Prediction Center did not have anything on the lower 48 yesterday. They added a few thunderstorms potentially around Miami today. Outside of that, it's pretty quiet. I had mentioned it tongue-in-cheek that they could take the day off the next couple of days, but they had to find somewhere that thunder could be present. Looks like there's a few pop-up showers and storms in Miami tomorrow, and also in the Pacific Northwest, not far from Oregon, Idaho, and Seattle. But nothing here, clearly. Lots of sunshine for East Tennessee. Sunday, maybe a few more thunderstorms just form during the day down towards South Florida. But outside of that, Sunday looks beautiful. We should be around 70 degrees on Sunday. I think you're going to like the way Sunday looks and feels. All right, so here's the Futurecast. Pick out your favorite town. You'll notice we're absent of cloud cover in most cases. 46 goes to 50 by noontime. Noontime today, we're around 50 degrees, so it's still kind of cool or brisk. Then we go into 2 o'clock, about 59. I think we finished about 63, as you can see illustrated here, but not everybody reaches the low 60s. La Follette, for example. Oneida, about 59, so that's about all I expect to see there. And then as you can see by temperatures tonight, we actually cool back into the 40s rather quickly. By about, say, 11 o'clock, many of us have reached into the mid to upper 40s by 10 o'clock. And eventually tomorrow morning, expect about 34. I mentioned 34 was a good starting point for tailgaters if you're getting up early. There's 36. I see 34 in Kingston. So many of us will start in the mid-30s and then warm up rapidly. You notice a few high clouds trying to stream in here for the second half of the game, if not the first quarter. But those are the high variety. So I think you're going to need the sunglasses and then maybe a spot of rain. There it comes. Maybe even down toward Tellico Plains or Madisonville or Von Orr by, say, early Sunday morning. The time frame there is about 4:45, about 5 a.m. Really just a sprinkle, maybe all we could expect out of that weak front. Now, what does that front look like? High pressure will begin to buckle. The front that you see near Kansas City will try to make a run in this direction. Not tomorrow, per se. But once we move into Saturday night, here comes Saturday night, stop it there. That's when that front may initiate a few scattered raindrops, maybe a stray shower, but just don't have much expectation. But if you saw a drop of rain on your windshield when you wake up Sunday morning, that would be why. Once we move into about Sunday, it's just, again, beautiful sunshine. We're pushing around 70 degrees. I think you're going to love the way Sunday looks. So it is now 6:57. As I'm looking at your comments, if there's anything new, let me know. I'd love to see what you're thinking. 63, bright sunshine, turning milder. Southwest winds 5 to 10. Looking for a high in Wartburg at 58. 64 in Newport. 63 in Sevierville. And 66 in Tellico Plains. If you're traveling today, almost a fairly uniform forecast. I mean, Charlotte, 63. Knoxville, 63. And if you're going to Atlanta, 62. Lexington, 63. So there's pretty much the same temperature, almost north, south, east, and west. Maybe a little bit milder to the west as you might travel there. I pulled out the frozen cold emoji again tonight as we'll see frost reappear. About freezing in Morristown, 26. Middlesboro, Bell County. And if you're in Crossville, Cumberland County, low temperatures tonight for you should be around 37 degrees. Oh, yes, tonight, 34. Mostly clear, some patches of frost late. Winds are going to slow down 0 to 5. And here is your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville and East Tennessee. 63 today, jumping up to 68 tomorrow as the Vols start at 12 noon. And then you can see we're at 70 on Sunday. We get that extra hour of sleep. Maybe you're going to spend that extra hour reading books. Maybe you need to catch up on your reading. However you want to spend it, my friend. But 73 on Monday, mid-70s, and right now, with a 40% chance there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the trend is to put most of that along the Tennessee-Kentucky line and further north. So I don't hold much hope that this is going to solve what we need, because I get a reminder, most people on Facebook like to put in what they like, so they'll put in their request, right? As if it's a vending machine, which weather's not. But they say, oh, I want good weather on fill in the blank, or I'm doing this. But they might say, we need the rain. And I totally agree, we need the rain, but I just don't see a lot of it. And I just want to get everyone, if you're doing watering of the lawn, maybe you have to rake the leaves. Those leaves will be extra crispy when you have to put them in the bags or take care of them, put them in the piles to make sure they're taken care of. But just throwing that out there. Again, temperatures today about 63 degrees. And if you're just joining me, new update on my app, the free Captain Accurate weather app has a dark mode on the left, which is easier on the eyes and also easier to discern snow. It has an improved lap speed and improved lapse bar. That's what that little cloud is at the bottom. You can actually see the past 2 hours of radar, plus the current radar scene, as well as future radar seamlessly, all in one product. Very proud of this new app update. I think you're going to love it. And you just have to maybe move the map up to where it is precipitating, like up into the northwest, and you can see how easily this works. By the way, new stylized legends also above the map to make it more convenient, perhaps, for you. My winter weather outlook, just a footnote, is now online. I posted it on Sunday. Many of us who have seen it on my premium side have liked what they heard and liked how I broke down the information. This represents a 15-minute video and would love for you to see it. Just join us on Captain Accurate Premium on Facebook. You just go to CaptainAccurate.com to sign up. Very easy, just $4.99, 1 cup of coffee for the entire month. You get that plus so much more. You also get the first to see my snow forecast. So you get a lot of benefits plus the extra posting throughout the day and week. So you get more information if your information or if your lifestyle demands more weather, because we're focused on weather that's weeks in advance, more than just the 7-day. But anyway, my name is David Aldrich. I believe I have the premium service. It's where you would find the same post here on my Facebook page, but subscribers see a whole lot more. My name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the extra hour. And remember, the sun will be going down before 6. Come Sunday morning, things are going to be adjusting quite a bit when we move those clocks. We'll see you here next time. Take care.